that the triangular ridge on the side opposite was in his. As she concentrated on it, the stones seemed to be warming, matching their body heat, adding to it, feeling as though it were becoming a part of them, or they a part of it. She remembered the chill she'd the ninth cave of the Zelendoni. She considered the welfare of the people her responsibility, and used every means her fertile brain could devise to carry out her duty. She watched the younger woman leave the rock shelter and head toward the path that led to the valley, and noticed the unmistakable foreignness of her leather tunic. The Odonia was also aware that she moved with a resilience of health and strength, and the confidence that belied her youth, and the fact that she was among complete strangers in their living space. Zelendoni got up and walked toward the structure, one of the many such dwelling places of various sizes scattered within the limestone agreement. At the entrance to the dwelling that divided the private living space from the open public area, she tapped on a stiff rawhide panel next to the draped closed entry, and heard the padded strides of soft leather footwear approaching. The tall, fair-haired, surprisingly handsome man pulled back the drape. Eyes of an performed the traditional burial rites of the clan for Rydag, the boy who reminded her of her own son, because they would not allow the child of mixed spirits that Nessie had adopted to have a Manutoi burial. But Manen had played his flute in spite of them, as she moved through the silent, formal sign language to implore the great cave bear and her totem spirit to take Rydag to the next world of the clan. She found herself remembering Eetsa's burial, when Margur had made those signs in his modified, one-handed way over her grave. Then Ayla recalled his death. She had gone inside the cave after the earthquake, and found him with his skull crushed by falling stones, lying on top of Eetsa's burial cairn. She had made the signs for him, since no one else had dared to go into the cave with the earthquake still rumbling aftershocks. But the flute evoked another memory. She had heard the instrument before she ever heard Manen play his flute. It was during the ritual cave bear ceremony at the clan gathering. The Margur of another clan had played a similar instrument, though the high-pitched warbling sound that symbolized the spiritual voice of Ursus When I was walking back from downriver, I decided to tell Laramar and some others about the bison feast. And when I approached, I overheard them talking. I'm sorry to say they were making disparaging remarks, in particular about her healing skills and treatment of Shavona. They seemed to feel that anyone who learned healing from the clan could not know much. It's their prejudice talking, I'm afraid. I told them no one, not even Zelendoni, could have done more, and I must admit they made me angry. That's not always the best time to make a point. So that's why he was so angry, Ayla thought. The knowledge gave her mixed feelings. She was upset by what those men said about Eetsa's healing abilities, but pleased that Jaharan had spoken up for her. All the more reason to make her one of us now, Jondalar said. You know those men. They do nothing but gamble and drink Laramar's barley. They haven't even bothered to learn a craft or a skill, unless you consider gambling one. They're not even decent hunters. They are lazy, worthless men who contribute nothing, unless they're shamed into it, and they have little shame. They will do anything to avoid making an effort toward helping the cave, and everyone knows it. No one will pay attention to what they say if the ones people respect are willing to accept her and make her Zelendonia. He was obviously upset. He wanted Ayla to be accepted for herself, and this put a different character on it. That's not entirely true about Laramar, Jondalar, Khalifa said. He may be lazy about most things, and I don't think he likes to hunt much, but Laramar does have a skill. He can make a drinkable beverage out of almost anything that will ferment. I've known him to use grains, fruits, honey, birch sap, even some roots, and turn out a drink that most people like, and he makes it for almost every occasion when people get together. It's true some people overdo it, but he's just the provider. I wish he was a provider, Marthona said with a scornful edge. Then maybe the children of his hearth wouldn't have to beg for everything they need. Tell me, Jaharan, how often is he too sick in the mornings to join a hunting party? I thought food was for everyone, as they need it, Ayla said. Food, yes. They won't starve. But for everything else, they have to depend on the goodwill and generosity of other people, the first said. But if, as Preleva says, he has the skill to make a very good drink that everyone likes, can't he exchange that for whatever his family needs? Ayla said. And then, just as the river took a sharp turn to the east, the huge overhanging stone ledge that housed the 9th cave. As they started to move again, Ayla noticed several people carrying torches. "Should I have brought a torch, Minimar?" she asked the man walking beside her. "It would probably be dark before we return." "It's supposed to be dark," Marthona said. She was walking on the other side of the river, and there will be many torches there. When people leave the burial ground, they will light torches to find their way, but they will not all go in the same direction. Some will go one way, some another. Some will go down to the river, and some uphill to a place we call Lookout. As Shavonna's Elan and any other spirits that are near watch us go, they may try to follow us. We need to confuse them, so that if they manage to get beyond the boundaries, they won't know which lights to follow. As the procession approached the burial ground, Ayla noticed the moving light of flickering fire from behind the outcrop, and an aromatic scent detectable from quite a distance away. They moved around the obstruction toward a circle of lit torches that produced as much smoke as light. Drawing closer, she saw the boundaries, a circle of carved poles just beyond the torches that surrounded and defined the sacred area. "The torches have a very strong smell," she commented. "Yes, the Zelandonia makes special torches for burials. It keeps the spirits contained, so people can enter the burial ground without danger. Or perhaps I should say without as much danger," Marthona explained. "And if there is a smell, the torches make it easier to bear." The Zelandonia of the 6 caves placed themselves at equidistant intervals around the inside of the circle, offering another layer of protection. The one who was first stood at the head of the grave pit. Then the 4 pallbearers, with their sad burden, carried the hammock into the area encircled by the torchlight. The 2 men in front walked around the right side of the hole they had dug until they faced the first and stopped, leaving the other 2 men at the foot. The 4 men waited silently, holding the body in the burial hammock hanging over the grave. Other family members and the leaders of Shavonna's cave filled up the area within the torch-lit circle. The rest of the people crowded around the outside of the boundaries created by the carved poles. Then a Zelandoni of the 9th cave stepped forward. She paused, and for a moment all was still. Not a single sound was made by the entire throng. Into the silence came the distant roar of a cave lion, followed by the cackle of a hyena, which seemed to set the mood. The next sound she heard was eerie and